Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive deep? Today we're exploring The Soul of Money by Lynne Twist. We'll be looking at money, but not the typical, financial advice stuff.
Exactly. We're going beyond that. We're going
Right.
to be thinking about money's deeper meaning, how it connects to our values and choices.
Okay, so Twist tells this story about meeting the Akwar tribe.
Oh, in the Ecuadorian rainforest.
Yes, they had this sense of, abundance traditionally.
Right.
But to protect their rainforest, they had to learn about money in this whole new way.
It's fascinating how our view of money can change
Totally.
depending on, well, our circumstances. The Aquarius experience forced them to confront the whole idea of financial value in a way they'd never had to before.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And that leads us to a big idea from the book.
The lie of scarcity.
Exactly. Twist argues against that, deep down belief that there's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
And she says it's more of a mindset
Interesting.
that's present in our culture. Doesn't matter how wealthy we are.
It makes you wonder, is our pursuit of more really about genuine need, or is it a manufactured sense of lack?
Right. And Twist even shares a personal story about going overboard, buying baby clothes for her granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
And her son, who's really into ethical living,
Mm-hmm.
helped her see that she'd gotten caught up in consumerism and kind of forgotten her own values.
That's a perfect example of how sneaky that scarcity thinking can be.
Yeah.
It influences our actions even when we're not aware of it.
So as an antidote to that, Twist talks about this idea of sufficiency.
Sufficiency.
It's not about deprivation.
No, not at all.
It's about appreciating what we have.
It is. And there's a great story about the Magnificent Seven from Bangladesh.
Oh, I love that story.
These seven friends, well, they were inspired by a workshop, and they totally transformed their whole community by just using resources they had but had never paid attention to before.
Amazing what a shift in perspective can do.
It really is.
But Twist also explores the tricky side of money, the ethics of it all. She talks about this time when she felt uneasy about accepting a big donation
Oh, interesting.
from a company that was trying to, fix their public image.
It raises an important question, doesn't it?
Mm.
Can money be tainted? Does the motivation behind it affect its impact? We need to think beyond just the numerical value of money and consider the ethics involved in our choices about money.
For sure. And then there's this contrasting story about Gertrude.
Oh, tell me about Gertrude.
She gave a small donation to the Hunger Project, but with so much genuine heart.
Right.
Even though it wasn't a lot of money, her donation felt powerful because it showed her commitment to truly making a difference.
That really emphasizes how money carries the energy of our intentions. Real wealth is about aligning our choices about finances with our values and making our money a force for good.
I love that. And then Twist talks about this idea of committed philanthropy. She thinks we should move away from that traditional charity model and towards more collaborative partnerships
Is
where everyone contributes.
working together.
Right. Like Faith Strong, this philanthropist who partnered with women in Senegal, she helped them start a successful business. So it wasn't just giving money.
It was about empowerment
Exactly. Helping them become self-sufficient.
and making a lasting impact. That's so important.
Absolutely. And Twist also urges readers to take a stand
Yeah.
with their money. Use it to support the things they believe in.
Be intentional.
Yes. And she shares this story about a Mayan woman at the Beijing Women's Conference. This woman, despite terrible hardship, managed to get to Beijing to share her story, and she inspired so many people.
Wow.
It's a powerful example of how individual commitment, even when facing huge obstacles, can create real change.
It's inspiring, isn't it? It shows what's possible when we're committed to something.
It really does. So we've covered a lot. How about we take a minute to recap? Pull out the top 10 ideas from the book, kind of like a cheat sheet.
Love that idea. Let's do it.
All right, number 1, scarcity is a lie. It's a mindset, not some universal truth.
Number 2, sufficiency is the antidote. See the abundance that's already present in your life.
Number 3, money carries our intentions. Our actions with money reflect our values.
Number 4, committed philanthropy. Collaborate and contribute to reach a shared goal.
Number 5, take a stand. Align your financial choices with your values.
Number 6, real wealth lies in giving. True fulfillment comes from aligning our money with what matters most.
Number 7, break the silence. Challenge the norms and fight for what's right.
Number 8, reclaim your power. You have the power to use money for transformation.
Number 9, collaboration creates prosperity. Everyone has something to offer.
And finally, number 10, Change the dream. Move away from consumerism and towards sustainability, connection, and enough. Those 10 points really give us a framework for looking at our finances, don't they? It's a push to go deeper.
Right, not just skim the surface.
Exactly, to get to the heart of how we relate to money.
hmm And speaking of going deeper, Twist talks about this really impactful experience she had in India. While she was visiting the streets of Bombay with Ram Krishna Bajaj,
Bajaj.
he was this well-known industrialist and philanthropist,
Oh, I see.
and she was really struck by the extreme poverty she saw.
Makes sense. The contrast must have been jarring.
It was. And Bajaj, he was a respected figure,
Mhm.
People would kneel and kiss his feet as he walked by.
Wow.
But Twist noticed that he seemed almost oblivious to the beggars.
Really?
Like he didn't even see them.
That's so interesting. How could someone so compassionate seemingly disregard such suffering? It's a puzzle.
It is. And later, Bajaj explained that he had to develop a certain detachment to function.
Ah, I can see that. Otherwise, it would be paralyzing, wouldn't it?
Exactly. To constantly be confronted with such overwhelming poverty.
It highlights the complexities of living in a world where those two realities coexist, doesn't it?
For sure. And Twist also had this memorable, although kind of jarring, encounter with Mother Teresa in Calcutta.
Calcutta.
She was visiting the orphanage there,
Oh, right.
and she was excited to see Mother Teresa's work firsthand.
I bet. So what happened?
Well, she was helping with the babies,
Mm-hmm.
and this wealthy couple barged in, demanding to see Mother Teresa.
Oh, no.
Their arrogance and sense of entitlement were so apparent.
I can imagine.
Twist was appalled.
Understandably.
But the ironic thing is, Mother Teresa handled them with grace and composure.
She had such a unique ability to meet people where they were.
She did. She treated them with the same kindness she showed everyone.
That's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
It is. Twist even felt ashamed of her own judgment of wealthy people.
It's easy to make assumptions, isn't it? To categorize people based on their financial status. But Mother Teresa transcended those sorts of divisions.
She did. And these experiences in India really forced Twist to confront her own ideas about wealth and poverty.
It prompted some serious introspection.
It did.
Yeah.
And it all ties back to this idea of the lie of scarcity.
That belief that there's never enough.
Exactly. That we're constantly competing for limited resources.
And Twist says this isn't actually reality, right?
Right. It's like a story we've been told.
A cultural narrative that keeps us trapped.
Exactly. And she says it affects everyone, no matter how much money we have.
We can be surrounded by plenty and still feel like we're lacking something,
It's like this psychological trap.
leading to anxiety and hoarding and always striving for more.
Even at the cost of our well-being and principles?
That's where sufficiency comes in, right?
Yes. It's not about denying ourselves, but focusing on appreciating what we have.
Recognizing that there's enough to go around.
Exactly. And Twist shares a story about Paul Dolan, the winemaker. He really embraced sustainable practices,
Interesting. In an industry that's often focused on profits.
which can come at the expense of the environment.
Unfortunately, that's often the case. But Dolan shows it doesn't have to be that way. His wines are renowned, aren't they?
They are. And his venture is thriving.
Proof that aligning our choices with our values can lead to success. It's not an either proposition.
Right. And this connects to the idea of money carrying our soul's energy.
Our actions with money become an expression of who we are. I like that.
And if we're conscious about it, our money can become a powerful force for good.
I agree. It's about more than just our net worth.
It's about aligning our money with our values.
Using our resources to create the world we want to see.
To illustrate this, Twist compares two experiences with donations. She felt really uncomfortable accepting this large contribution from a company.
Trying to buy good PR, I imagine.
Exactly. The money just felt tainted somehow.
It lacked that genuine spirit of giving.
It did. On the other hand, she tells this story about Gertrude, who gave a small amount to the Hunger Project.
But with a lot of heart, right?
Yes. And her donation felt so much more valuable than that corporate one.
Because it came from a place of true caring.
Yes. It shows that any amount of money can be an expression of our values.
And a contribution to something larger than ourselves.
And this leads into Twist's idea of committed philanthropy.
Moving beyond traditional charity,
Towards a more collaborative strategy.
where everyone contributes their unique abilities.
Right. It's about empowering people, not creating dependency.
She gives the example of Faith Strong, right?
Yes. Partnering with women in Senegal, helping them start a business.
Investing in their skills and potential.
Instead of just giving handouts.
Seeking lasting change.
And Twist encourages us to take a stand with our money, too.
To be mindful about where it goes,
to support the causes we believe in.
and to use our spending habits for good.
She tells this amazing story about a Mayan woman who went to the Beijing Women's Conference.
Despite facing poverty.
She sold everything she had and got her community to help her raise money for the trip.
Wow, she was determined.
She was. She was committed to speaking out against injustice.
It shows the power of individual commitment, even when things seem impossible.
It does. And it also shows how money can amplify our voices.
It can help us contribute to causes bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And then Twist goes on to explore something we don't often talk about, the power of conversation.
Conversation, how does that relate to money?
She talks about the 1987 stock market crash, Black Monday.
Oh, wow.
She and her husband lost a lot, like many others did.
It was a tough time.
And the media just kept amplifying the fear.
Creating a sense of panic and scarcity?
But Twist realized she had a choice in how she responded.
Instead of getting swept up in it all?
She started having open conversations with people about their anxieties.
Just talking about it.
It allowed them to process their emotions, to find some grounding.
It highlights the power of language, of consciously choosing our words. And she draws a parallel to the conversations after 9/11.
After the attacks,
At first, there's this outpouring of compassion.
people wanting to help and connect.
But then, the media shifted the focus to the economic impact.
Fear and the need to consume took over.
It shows how quickly scarcity thinking can overshadow generosity.
It's a reminder to be aware of the narratives we're consuming.
And Twist says we need to change the conversation about money
Move away from fear and competition.
towards sufficiency and collaboration.
Our words have power.
They do. They shape our reality.
And by changing our language, we can change the world.
Twist describes working with activists after 9/11.
Concerned about the impact on philanthropy.
Foundations are cutting back on grants.
Out of fear.
They launched an email campaign urging people to reconnect with generosity.
And to find alternative ways to contribute.
The response was amazing.
People were hungry for a more meaningful way to engage with money.
It shows the power of dialogue to inspire action.
We can all choose to change the conversation, to focus on scarcity or on possibility.
And that choice has a real impact.
It does. Next, Twist dives into something very personal. The life sentences we carry about money.
Life sentences.
Those unexamined beliefs that shape our choices.
And often hold us back.
She shares her own struggles with limiting beliefs about women and money.
From her upbringing.
She internalized this idea that women shouldn't be financially independent.
That's so common, unfortunately.
It is. And these beliefs affected her career choices.
Even if she wasn't fully aware of them.
Right. And it took conscious effort to challenge those beliefs.
To rewrite those life sentences.
And create a more empowered relationship with money.
She encourages us to do the same, right?
To examine our own life sentences.
Where do we get them from? Are they still serving us?
She tells this story about a fundraising event early in her career.
What happened?
When it was time to make pledges, she was handed a card.
And
She realized she didn't see herself as someone who had money to give.
wow.
It was a wake-up call,
A moment of self-reflection.
leading her to challenge those beliefs.
And embrace a more generous approach.
It shows how those limiting beliefs can sabotage us.
And keep us from experiencing true fulfillment.
We need to rewrite those narratives
Create new life sentences that reflect our true selves.
and empower us to use money for positive change,
Reclaiming our power and shifting to a mindset of sufficiency.
knowing that we have the ability to create abundance.
That's a great message.
It is. And then Twist tackles a topic that's often taboo: money and gender.
It's a sensitive subject.
It is. But it's important. Money is a flashpoint for gender issues.
Reflecting deep-seated societal norms.
There's this expectation that men are the breadwinners,
And women are relegated to undervalued roles.
even when those roles involve a lot of work and responsibility.
It's a pervasive issue.
And it has huge consequences, not just for individuals, but for society as a whole.
It limits women's opportunities and perpetuates inequality.
We need to challenge those assumptions.
And then advocate for a more equitable distribution of resources.
Recognize the value of women's contributions.
And create systems that support their financial empowerment.
Twist also emphasizes honest conversations about money within families
To challenge traditional roles.
and create a more equitable approach.
Money isn't just practical, it's emotional.
It can deeply affect relationships.
Open communication is crucial.
To cultivate a healthy financial partnership.
I agree. And then Twist shifts to the concept of legacy.
How our relationship with money shapes the future.
For ourselves and for generations to come.
She shares a touching story about her mother's final days.
They talked about legacy.
Her mother found fulfillment in a fundraising campaign she led years ago
What was it for?
to build a new adoption center.
And it had a ripple effect,
It did. It facilitated countless adoptions.
creating a legacy of connection and compassion.
It brought her mother peace and satisfaction.
It shows that our actions can have a lasting impact.
That our legacy is about more than just material wealth
It's about the values we embody.
and the positive difference we make in the world.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is. And Twist talks about creating a legacy of enough for future generations.
Countering the consumerism that surrounds children today.
Exactly. We need to teach them about sufficiency
Appreciation for what they have.
and the understanding that true fulfillment comes from connection and purpose.
It's about raising children with a healthy relationship with money.
Teaching them about the environmental impact of their choices.
And modeling a lifestyle that prioritizes values.
It's not just about inheritance, it's about passing on values.
That will guide them towards a more sustainable way of life.
Twist also talks about creating a legacy of enough in the workplace,
Challenging the profit above all mentality.
which can lead to unsustainable practices and exploitation.
We need a more conscious and responsible approach to business,
One that prioritizes sustainability and fairness.
creating value for everyone involved,
There are companies doing this successfully.
showing that it's possible to be profitable and ethical,
It's about moving from extraction to regeneration.
understanding that our prosperity depends on a healthy ecosystem,
And Twist ends her book on a hopeful note.
envisioning a world where sufficiency and compassion prevail.
We're all agents of change.
We have the power to choose a different path.
She uses this metaphor of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly.
A symbol of metamorphosis.
Even amidst chaos, there's potential for growth,
We can be the imaginal cells of this transformation.
carrying within us the potential for a better world.
It's a call to action,
A reminder that we all have a role to play,
and that money can be a force for good,
an expression of our
a
value.
tool for creating a legacy of abundance and opportunity.
That transformation analogy, the caterpillar to butterfly, it's pretty powerful.
It really is. The caterpillar, just focused on eating, then this big shift emerges as something so delicate.
And impactful.
Right.
It reminds us that even when things seem chaotic, there's potential for growth.
Like Twist's experience in the Amazon.
With the Apor tribe,
Yes, their worldview really changed her perspective.
she describes having this vivid dream while she was there,
A dream.
filled with these striking images, a sense of connection to nature.
Interesting.
Later, she found out the Akwar have prophetic dreams, too.
Foretelling events.
They dreamt about the arrival of outsiders.
And potential threats to their way of life.
But instead of being afraid or resisting,
They chose to engage.
they did. They sought out collaborations to help them navigate the changes
While preserving their heritage.
and protecting their rainforest.
It's a testament to their resilience. They knew isolation wasn't an option.
Collaboration was key.
Their story emphasizes the importance of bridging cultures
Respecting indigenous wisdom.
and our shared responsibility for the planet.
Twist's encounter with them really made her question the idea of progress.
What truly matters.
Their message to change the dream ties into that shift from scarcity to sufficiency.
We already have enough.
Abundance is about appreciating what we have, sharing, and working together.
Moving from competition to cooperation.
Recognizing that we're all interconnected.
The soul of money is an invitation to self-discovery,
To examine our relationship with money.
to uncover our value,
To reclaim our power.
break free from limitations,
And create a more fulfilling reality.
for ourselves and for future generations.
It's a reminder that money can be a force for good.
A way to express our values
Contribute to our communities.
and create a legacy of abundance and positive change.
This has been an incredible exploration.
We've covered so much ground.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the soul of money.